Alright guys, we are starting our third matchup for the round of 16 for the Primal Chord Star League. Today we have Zen versus Cava. Zen, a pretty solid, like high B-ish Protoss player. Cava, definitely not, he has a bit of a range. He can be that low A to low S Zerg player, so Cava definitely a very, very strong player. This could be a very hard series for Zen. Get the scoreboard up. All right, our first map for this round is going to be Death Valley. Like I've mentioned before, it will be this map for every match for the round of 16, if they're picking their maps correctly. You never know with these guys. I do know for Cava, he likes ZVT the most. That being said, I think his ZVP is still very strong. He tends to play a pretty standard style. Like, he usually goes into like a handful of Muta and then likes to play Hydra Lurker from there. And just likes to play that contain style a lot of the time.
Cool. Yeah, Zen did something weird. He sent his probe down to kind of scout. I'm not sure what he went down to the bottom for, but he's got vision down there. Not sure why. From what I know, Zen is pretty standard for the most part, but I know that he definitely can play some tricks, at least in maybe a BO5 series. So I do expect, some trickery from him to try to get an advantage. Obviously, against a pretty solid player like Cava, might expect a lower skilled player, the player who's the underdog, to try to throw in some tricks. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see, especially on Death Valley ZVP map or ZVP matchup on this map. I wonder how you think of it. I always think that Protoss would probably default into like a 2 Stargate play, but who knows? This is such a weird map for, especially at this matchup.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I would play it out personally. That being said, Zen already being kind of weird about it. We are doing a 1-base build. So not what I would have expected. I also wonder if when he checked the bottom, if he was checking like the map version. Like it's possible he was double checking to see if it was eggs or minerals. But very interesting that he would choose to go 1-base on this map. I wonder what he's planning on, or like why he's thinking that. It looks like it's just going to be a Corsair rush though.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad choice. You can always expand to the mineral natural instead. So maybe that's what he's thinking about. He doesn't need to build cannons or get a forge super early, right? He can just expand down there. Doesn't really need to get cannons up to defend, and so he can save the money and use that more on infrastructure like gateways and zealots. That could be the way he's thinking about it. But, I mean, again, a Corsair rush on this map, Zerg might be trying to be super, super greedy, not really getting anti-air early, just trying to get, like, the bases up and running. So, could do some damage to slow down Zerg's progress in this game.
Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, because I'm trying to think of how I would want to play this map. You mentioned being a little bit tricky as an option. I'd like to see, it's a little bit risky, of course, but you could do something like a 12 Nexus on that mineral base, and then basically just hope they're not mining up that side and kind of go defensive from there and just have that really early Nexus. But it's a little bit risky, and it does kind of make for a weird situation. But you see Cava is mining out this backside, has made a few links so far. We have Zealot into Goon with Goon range, so it's not going to be a super fast Corsair.
Yeah, the probe is kind of positioned, ready to build something, waiting for some gas, it looks like. So, no, it's going to be a second gateway. This is super, super interesting. He is going to get this Overlord, though. Goons do the full 20 damage against Overlord, so this Overlord is going to go down. So Kava's going to be like, what the hell?
Missed a shot.
Got a Goon up there. Yeah, missed the shot already, but yeah, he's gonna get the Overlord. So a 3-gate Goon, it's almost like a PvP build here, but it's you know what? It's probably just gonna be a Goon all in.
Yeah, it's just gonna be a Goon all in for sure.
Zen.
And I actually do like this build. It's a fun build. It's not really that good, really, but it's a really fun build to do against Zerg. Basically, they can just go, make a few Sunkens if they need to. Mass Ling Muta does actually beat Goon pretty hard. So we'll see how Cava ends up defending this. Does have a 3rd base on the way against, the 1-base 3 Goon. Now, the one thing that's really nice about this base on the backside is Cava only has to defend one area to defend all 3 bases right now. So this is pretty much a perfect scenario for Cava. He can just make a bunch of Sunkens in the middle and just have a safe 3 bases against this.
Yeah, could just throw down a massive amount of Sunkens if he does see this coming. Although he does see the okay, Ling gets in, sees 2 Dragoons, so he's definitely gonna be tipped off. Be like, okay, well, you got 2 Dragoons. That's a little odd, you know. Normally you just go 1 Dragoon and kill the Overlord, and then probably pivot into something else. But the 2nd Dragoon definitely should be signaling to him, okay, this is something a little bit weird. He's got the Hydrogen coming up. Lair was started really, really fast, so he's going for it looks like a two. It was almost like a 2-hack Spire. It's almost like a ZVT build that he's doing, where he gets that 3rd base a little bit after the layer starts, like a 2.5 hatch, but with the 3rd hatch at the 3rd base actually this time. Which I don't know, man. Mita seems pretty bad against this, to be honest, with the Mascoon.
Yeah, well, Ling Mita does really well against it, honestly, but I think Cava, he thought he was getting 1 base Sared, right? So he went for this really fast Hydroden with the Spire behind it. And yeah, go ahead and take over.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, yeah, it doesn't look good for him. Dragoon's already pushing in. They're gonna be able to micro these Lings out. The Sunken is gonna finish, and I don't know if the Sunken does full damage to Dragoon, so that could be something. The Overlord is overhead right now, but the Goons take down Sunken so fast. Oh, living at 11 HP, needed 1 more shot there. Lings are gonna get on top of these Goons, killing off 1. But this is buying him some time to try to get these next Sunkens up right now. The Sunken does go down. Only Lings left over, and looks like just pure Ling on the way to reinforce, because Lings do really well against Dragoons.
Yeah, the Ling with the Sunken should be a really good defense here. And Zen has to do a lot of damage. Like, killing a few Sunkens, killing a bunch of Lings isn't going to be enough. He needs to do a lot of damage with this triple hatch going up. Another Goon goes down, 2nd Goon getting super low, 2nd Sunken finishing, and it's getting harder and harder now for Zen to break through this. It's going to be able to kill this Sunken with more Lings trickling in. It looks like Kava's barely going to hold.
Oh, the Sunkens are not targeting the right Goons, though. Okay, the Lings managed to pick off 1, but 2 Goons in red HP. It's, not lucky for Cava here how the Sunken was targeting, but he's continuously slamming down these Sun colonies. So Zen is doing some decent economic damage. We can see that Cava is not making many drones back at home. He's only got that 1 mineral line saturated. Meanwhile, throwing down drones to immediately make more Sunkens. The Hydrogen is also, unfortunately for him, going to go down here, which means he's not going to be able to pivot at all afterwards. He's going to have to throw out another Hydrogen. But I think at this point, he's going to be able to hold. He's going to have enough Sunken colonies here to be able to get up before these Dragoons get in too big of numbers. And I think at this point, Zen is probably going to have to look to either pivot, or he's going to have to try to do some insane bust. But the Lings with the Link speed are going to surround the Dragoons. Really nice surround here. And they might be able to take out all of these Dragoons, man. I mean, Lings are so good against Goons.
Yeah, and I don't think he can pivot from here. He hasn't made a single probe this entire push. So even though he's like up a few workers, Cava has so many larvae to work with right now with this 4 Sunken line against these Goons.
Yeah, and it's just not enough. I mean, 1 Goon per Sunken is not enough. Cava even sending Lings out from the opposite side. Oh, GG from Zen. I was going to say Cava even sent out the Lings to see if there was an expansion there for the natural, and he didn't even see that. So, yeah, unfortunately, didn't pan out for Zen here. It was a great effort, though.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're hopping into game 2 here of Cava versus Zen. They did pick Radion for the 2nd map, as pretty much every single person in the tournament will do. Because it is, like I mentioned before, just the most comfortable, most balanced map for a lot of these players. This time we see Zen go in the forward pylon. He's going to play a little bit normal, which is nice to see. He did get crawl spawn as well, which, I don't know, how do you feel? Do you feel like crawl spawn is typically good or bad for Zerg? I feel like because we're going gate expand, this is much better for Zerg.
Yeah, it really depends on the opener, I think. As you said, going gate first, obviously the Zealot's going to take forever to get to the Zerg natural, so definitely better for Zerg in this situation. But yeah, I think against the Forage expand, I think actually it's better for Protoss. Protoss will usually get the 2nd scout in, but by the time the Forage is about to finish, I believe. So should be able to know if they can afford to go for the Nexus before cannon or not. But in this case, obviously with the gate first, the Zealot's going to be started, and it's going to be taking a much longer time to get down to the Zerg natural.
Yeah, it is going to be overpull for Cava. Normally, I would say this is like the preferred opening for Zerg against gate expand, but crossbutt on Radion, you can actually go 12 hatch against gate expand and be completely safe because the travel distance on this map is absolutely insane when it's cross spawn.
Yeah, but Cava being the better player probably just wants to play a little bit more safer, and overpull is just generally just like perfect build for Zerg, honestly, in this matchup.
Yeah, it's a good build in
this
matchup.
Almost like no risk, there's no downside. It doesn't get hard countered by anything. So it's just a super good build, and he even goes for the 4 Ling 1 drone just to play extra safe. Doesn't want to go for 2 drones, or sorry, yeah, 2 drones and 1 pair of Lings instead. And Zen's even just hiding his Zealot back at home right now because he's just not been able to scout Cava, so he wants to keep it at home just in case it's a 9 pool. So again, this is super good opener here so far from Cava.
Yeah, when you're playing Gate Expand against Zerg, you don't want to send your first out off if you didn't manage to scout the Zerg, because if it's something like a 9 pull or something like that, you can just be caught out in the middle of the map against 6 lings and lose your first zealot for free. And you can actually just straight up lose the game sometimes if that happens. So not getting the earlier scout like you would hope for is going to get a little bit defensive now with this setup.
Yep,
We're
decided
gonna
to go for the two zealot nexus instead of a 3 zealot, which is perfectly fine. Again, cross map is actually going to help him because there's much less possibility of a ling rush of some sort. But you know, Cava's just going to be really, really annoying. Going to use the fact that he is actually he's not that fast of a player, 200 APM only right now, but probably very efficient with those clicks to just be really annoying with these lings.
That is actually a little bit low for Cava compared to normal. Maybe just not feeling a whole lot of pressure right now, but yeah, I mean, he's pretty good with the multitasking. Does take a few hits on these lings right now, but like you said, just kind of being annoying running around. Just gonna see how many zealots are coming out. Actually gonna pull the zealot off and immediately jumps on top of that. Kava, he's so annoying to play against sometimes. As soon as he saw that come down.
He started ling speed. So these are going to be some Jaedong lings in here when the ling speed happens, where he's going to be able to keep these 3 lings alive for basically the entire game if he manages to control them well. Zen is going to try to counterattack here with the 3 zealots moving across the map. So we're going to see how Kava's going to respond. But again, with the ling speed being started instantly, I mean, this is going to be so good for Kava, who's even started another big batch of lings coming up. So these lings are going to be able to easily take down these zealots as they push across the map. And this is going to be a great position for Kava, probably, as long as his micro is, decent.
Yeah, this is a bit of a kind of a desperate move from Zen. It's kind of dangerous to go for something like this because the Zerg, he sees it coming, is going to make a bunch of lings. The zealots are going to get swallowed up, and then we're just going to have a lot of lings left over. So I think this is definitely mapping out pretty well for Cava. Yes, the drone count's going to be a little bit low right now, but what ends up happening in this scenario is once Zerg clears these zealots, he knows that no more zealots are coming out for a very long time, so he can just smash the drone key pretty much non-stop after clearing this.
Yeah, at least back at home, Zen has managed to pick off 2 of these lings. Unfortunately, that one ling manages to pick off an extra probe just now. But the lings, for the most part, are just sitting back for Cava. He's just waiting for the zealots to show themselves, and he's going to be able to get a nice surround on them. And now he's just going to power drone up with the layer coming down. He's going to transition this into a normal 3-hack Spire opener. Zen, on the other hand, doesn't... Okay, Core just started. So his tech's not that far behind, I would say. It's probably pretty normal-ish, and Cava definitely wants to start, heavily droning.
Another probe goes down. It's a little bit delayed for sure. It's not too bad. Like Gate Expand always gonna have that later core and stuff, so it's not real bad. But this is gonna be kind of late. I mean, the Spire is gonna be like halfway done before the Stargate finishes. So relative to the Spire, this is actually pretty bad for Zen.
Yep. Unfortunately for him, the Zealots also just ran back home, probably a little bit worried, especially after he saw the Link speed kick in for those Lings back at his main. And now Cava, yeah, it's nice. Cava's, Zen's forced out a lot of Lings from Cava, but Cava's going to be able to pure max drone, and look at him, and production tabs just pure drones.
Yeah.
And these Lings with Link speed are just going to be absolutely everywhere on the map. So Zen cannot move out, because if he does move out, not only is there going to be a threatening of a backstab with these Lings, but also, Cava's micro is probably good enough to get a pretty good surround and get a favorable trade there in the middle.
Yeah, Cava, he's just made this look really easy to get into a really good position. I mean, we're even on workers right now, which is fantastic for the Zerg. We're very far away from the +1 of the Zealots. We are moving out with 6 Zealots, but there's already enough Lings, I think, to beat the Zealot count. He might need a few more if Zen micros well. But that being said, he's going to push out. Kava's not going to bite. He's not going to make any more Lings than he already has.
Oh man, Cava's playing so smart. I gotta trap a Zealot, man. He's so patient with it. Like, he's not trying to go on top of these Zealots super early. Like, he just backs up. Now here comes the surround here with about 18 Zerglings. The Zealot's good micro here from Zen overall, picking off a few of these Lings, but another Zealot does go down. So, I mean, God, that was so, like, clean from Cava there. Just, it's like the little... it's like in the safari, right, where the little baby elephant or whatever is cut out from the rest of the herd, and then the lion comes in and grabs it. I mean, but it was, yeah, really well played there from Cava so far, and yeah, forcing these Zealots back. He's gonna have so much more time to just continue to drone up.
Yeah, that's pretty painful for Zen. This was essentially a fruitless move outright. He didn't force any more Lings or any reaction from Cava at all. He ended up losing 2 Zealots, only killed a handful of Lings, which Cava doesn't really care. These Lings are dying at this point. And yeah, Cava just continued pretty much unimpeded behind that. We have the Scourge coming out now, gonna intercept this potentially right in the middle of the map.
Oh my God, don't lose that first Corsair. Okay, the Scourge do lock onto it right now. It's trying to dodge it. Here we go. This is actually such a big moment in the game, because if he loses his first Corsair, man, I mean, it's so easy for him to just pivot into Mutas and absolutely demolish the Protoss.
Yeah, especially losing the Sarah at that point, because he has no idea what Kava's doing back at home. And every Sarah that you lose, I mean, it makes it that much longer before you get the Sarah count you need to be able to get on the map and scout with it. We are about to
Yeah.
finish that +1, about to finish our our leg speed. No +1 air though, so I'm wondering if we're gonna stop at just 3 Corsair or keep going beyond that.
Yeah, gonna see. Zen here actually power gatewaying really hard here, going up to 6 gateways immediately. Normally, we see Protoss kind of stop at 4 gateways after getting the Templar tech out, using the minerals that they have, that because they're gonna have excess, obviously, making the High Templar and getting the Storm Research. But he's going up to 6 straight away here, so maybe he's gonna try to go for maybe like a much earlier 6 gate attack rather than maybe waiting for 8 gateways.
Mhm.
Oh, does lose a Corsair. That's not great. But now the Zealots are gonna be out. Only 7 Zealots though. Meanwhile, there are already, a decent amount of Hydras back at home. So we got another 6 in production right now. So he's going to be able to hold this off, I would say, pretty easily with some, decent micro. And he's got good SimCity at both of his locations.
Yeah, and Kava's pretty close to the drone count that he wants to be at. I mean, he could use like a few more drones. I think it's like 5, 6 more would be ideal. But right now, he's pretty comfortable with his drone count. Can pump off these 6 hatchers pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, Zen even sees the situation right there at the mineral line, and he just turns around because he knows he can't do anything right now. And Cava even's got the Scourge probably on a follow command right now on these Zealots. He's got a complete vision of everything going on. Oh my god, DT even getting spotted by the Overlord over there towards the 6 o'clock position. Drone is going to come out to try to take that base, maybe? No, he's going to go to the other natural or maybe the other main. I know Zergs do like to kind of play almost like a Terran, like TVZ style, where they take another corner base. So that DT unfortunately going to miss that drone. And so that drone's going to be able to start that 4th base likely. And now the Hydra's going to move out and probably take some map control. They're probably going to be able to fight these Zealots once that +1 attack upgrade finishes.
Yeah, I'm actually really surprised Kava's going for this far base instead of the 6 o'clock. It's going to work out for him, like you pointed out. The DT's not going to catch that drone. But I mean, Cava... I mean, this is great for Cava, right? Like, we made up enough army that Zen just had to turn around and leave. We dropped a 4th base and then droned up to that drone count that I was talking about. Ended up adding, about 10 more drones in total is what it's going to be. We see the Goon production coming out for Zen behind this. We're going to see the Observer probably relatively soon. I expect the Observatory to come down. We are pretty light on Templar, though, to be starting our Dragoons now. With only 3 Templar, I typically like to see 5, 6, 7 before you really start going heavy into the Dragoon.
Yeah, normally like 4 is the minimum that you need. The fact that he's only got 3, I mean, he is getting the energy upgrade, so these Templar, if they can get the full energy, will at least have 3 storms instead of 2 on them. But as you said, it's a little bit worrisome, especially with how good of a macro player that Cava is. Now, that being said, we always joke around Cava having lost to Ray Rain because he didn't micro his his Hydras at all and he just got melted by Storm and lost the game in that fashion. But man, the Overlord does see the DT. DT's gonna be able to maybe get away because it is a sneaky boy.
Yeah, it's going to get it with that DT, which is kind of nice for him. Zen going to try and take this 12 o'clock base. Supply right now, though, looking pretty good for Cava. And like we mentioned, like the lack of storms makes me a little bit nervous. He's only going to have 6 storms if they fight anytime soon. But you did mention the energy upgrade, so that could be up to 9, which would be kind of nice. But I like this little setup from Cava, just these few Hydras here on the bottom right with the Overlord, just in case that DT does come down there. So he's not in danger of like a backstab in that way.
Yeah, it does have Lurkers also morphing back at home likely. Yeah, back at home. But huge amount of Hydras right now. Zealots are going to have to get on top of these right now. +1 armor does finish in time, though. So this is not a bad upgrade situation here for Zen. Zen probably does want to bring all those Dragoons that he just produced from his base to come in here and attack. Good storm there. Cava not paying attention, loses all those Hydras. So pretty good trade there from Zen so far, and now with the Dragoon count starting to mass up as well, taking out little bits of this army here from Cava is going to do him huge favors, and he might be able to get on the aggression at some point.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that was a little bit of a hockey mix-up there for Cava. I don't think he realized that group of Hydras was staying behind. He does have Lurkers out. I mean, he's really, really strong defensively right now. But Zen is going to get this 3rd base up and running at a pretty decent time. Between 11 and 12 minutes is typically... that's about the time you want to be taking your 3rd normally. I mean, 11 minutes I would even say is early, so Zen should be pretty comfortable with this 3rd base timing. Does have this kind of battering ram army now.
Yeah, but good focus fire there from Cava. Takes out a few of the Zealots here with some backfire shots there by the Hydras. Even took out the DT as well, which is always nice. But now Zen, yeah, getting to this choke point is really difficult to break through, so he's gonna have to pull back a little bit. Cava supply is excellent right now. Oh, 64 drones, man. Oh my goodness, that is a lot of drones.
Yeah, Cava's eco is popping off right now. So even though Zen's getting up to this 3rd base, I mean, Cava should not be uncomfortable at all. High tech just now finished as well, which is great for Cava. This is not going to be bustable, I don't feel like, for Zen. You do kind of want to swing this army around and look to trade, though. Just to kind of put pressure on the Zerg by just kind of, you know, going back and forth and looking for storms and stuff to trade off for army without really bleeding off too much. Kind of put pressure on Zerg that way, but normally you're doing that so they're not able to kind of macro up the way they want to, but the fact they're already at 68 drones, I mean, Cava is pretty much just going to be pumping army the whole time anyway.
Yep, Cava even wrapping around here with some Hydras from the backside right now. Maybe going to try to look for some High Templar pickoffs right now, but no, not yet. Morphing Lurkers right in the face. A little bit of, like, almost like he's, like, not even trying right now. It's like, okay, you can take these. I'm going to donate you some resources. But as you were saying, you know, the Storm definitely want to trade off some Storm. One High Templar full of energy right now, but is it going to get picked off? No, gets the Storm off. But before it gets picked off, it doesn't even get picked off there. So not a bad Storm there from Zen. He's going to be able to push away these Hydras right now and get some more map control here. But Cava's at 70 drones. I mean, it doesn't even matter if Zen can get some damage done here because the economy for Cava is going to be massive.
Yeah, this is kind of scary for Zen. I mean, he's not really finding that much damage. He's finding a little bit here and there. I mean, he's done a good job of not bleeding off any High Templar yet, which is pretty impressive because Kava's really, really good at picking those off. That one High Templar surviving with one shot left. But we see Adrenals on the way for Cava. We see the extra Evolution Chamber coming down. We got the Nidus Canal just about to finish in this bottom right, and it should be able to finish in time before Zen can get up this ramp and do much damage.
Yeah, I was going to say Zen could have pivoted his army a little bit earlier here to try to take down this fourth base because there's not that many Hydras here, but obviously he would have to be a little bit worried in terms of getting, you know, countered or getting his army wrapped around here. But Lurker Egg morphed up on the ramp. Unfortunately for him, Storm does kind of take down Lurker Eggs pretty easily. Same with Protoss units. Dragoons do full damage to those eggs. And so now he's going to be able to try to get up here, but the Nidus Canal, as you said, finished right now. Getting up this ramp is going to be a little bit difficult, but the Storms are there right now. Dragoons are not getting up the ramp because they're so stupid and so big, but he's trying to get up as well as he can right now. Templar still has energy as well to get some more Storms down, but now Cava's streaming Lurkers in through the Nidus Canal right now, and the Storms are not coming down. One of the High Templar has one Storm but doesn't get it off right now, and yeah, Zen's got the pull back right now. His units were not able to get up the ramp fast enough, and meanwhile, now we have Cava counterattacking into the fourth base here at the 2 o'clock position, is going to shut down this fourth base from Zen.
Yeah, this is a double counter from Cava. This is actually amazing. Cava managed to focus down those observers and then get all these lurkers up and then double countered in the meantime. So he's going to shut down 2 bases potentially.
Oh my god, that was incredible. I didn't even see the attack there on the 12 o'clock position. I mean, that might just be game here. Even if Zen can kill off like the 4th base there from Cava, Cava's taking down 2 base, or oh man, he didn't actually take down the Nexus, but he had so much pressure, took down the 3rd base, killed a few probes. Now Zen's back down to even 45 probes right now, and now the upgrade, the triple upgrade Evolution Chamber is going to start kicking in here, and it's going to be really bad trades for Zen moving on in the future, especially with Defiler Mount probably started, or yeah, it's already finished here. I don't see Consume having started yet. A big fight here. The Lynx are getting on top of these goons, but nice Storm so far from Zen. He's got his units in a pretty decent position right now, so he's got to make sure they can trade relatively favorably here, but some Zealots moving forward, getting picked off here. The Observers moving forward, doesn't want to get those sniped because then he would absolutely not be able to break through here.
Yeah, Zen's supply and bank actually looks pretty decent right now. The issue is, with losing this 12 o'clock base, he's about to mine out on 2 bases, right? So typically at this point is when you wanted to be double expanding, which is what he was trying to do. So losing that 12 o'clock base knocks him down to a 1 base economy soon. Even losing this Templar to these Lings.
Yeah, lost a Templar, gonna lose a few probes here. Cava doing an excellent job of just being everywhere on the map right now. And as you were talking about, yeah, getting mined out of 2 base at the same time is sort of what happens in this matchup as you're a Protoss player. So you need sometimes to double expand, take the 3rd and 4th so that you at least at minimum have 2 base mining at all times. And unfortunately, that's not happening. Cava even playing this almost like he's playing a PvT as a Protoss player, taking the opposite corner now to secure another base over there. Meanwhile, also taking the 5th base down there at the bottom right-hand natural as well. He's doing a really good job of just continuing to put pressure on Zen, both, you know, offensively and defensively. Like, he's forcing Zen to come in here and try to do some damage right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure on Zen to make something happen, especially if this top left base gets up and we get a Nidus Canal up there. I don't see how Zen could possibly win from here. I mean, right now it's still playable, right? He can try to deny this expansion. There's a lot of lurkers here, though. Holy.
Yeah, oh my goodness. This is what? That is 9 lurkers total. I mean, he does he have Storm on these Templar? He's got 1, 2, 2 Storm only. I don't know how he breaks this really, because the Krakens are coming out. Plus, dude, 2 upgrades on all of these units are about to finish as well. I mean, you know, with the lurkers, he's gonna be able to stall for as long as he really wants to here for his upgrades to finish, and that's when he's gonna really kick into gear.
Yeah, Zen's been really light on High Templar this entire time. We have another counterattack coming down to this 4th base, by the way.
Yeah, the Hydra's picking off every single cannon over there right now. Now, the Zealots are going to get on top of them and deal decent amounts of damage to these Hydras. Yeah, picking off all the Hydras here. Zen's going to try to brute force his way through here, though at the 5th base over here. But I don't know, man. The Lurkers are just so strong. The +2 attack upgrade, range attack finishing as well. Is there an Observer overhead? Yeah, there is. He didn't target it with the Scourge, unfortunately. But now he snipes the Observer, and now Zen's army completely reduced to blue goo on the map right now. And that, I think, is going to be pretty much his last dying hope. I mean, the top left base now is finished. He can start saturating as well. It looks so dire here for Zen.
Yeah, I don't really see a way for him to come back anymore. We're down 40 supply. Cava's a 3k mineral bank. I mean, he's taking the entire map. He's not under any real pressure. We're going to see maybe a Zealot drop here on the right side, but I can't imagine this doing nearly enough.
Yeah, and oh my god, even the Lurker's now getting on top of this Nexus here at the 12 o'clock position. Zen's going to lose this base again for the second time, it looks like. He just doesn't have enough of an army at 100 supply here. Like, how do you deal with this? And even if you can deal with it, how do you deal with it efficiently to the point where you don't take that many losses? Because even if Cava trades somewhat inefficiently, the fact that Zen is not mining, basically only mining off of one base over at the 2 o'clock position, means that he can't even trade well. Like, he has to get free units all the time to come back in this game.
Yeah, well, I was wrong about these 3 Zealots not doing a lot of damage, but it's still not going to be enough. I mean, Cava's still at over 70 drones right now, right? Like, it doesn't really matter that he lost all of these. But
yeah, 74 drones, like a billion Lurkers up at the top left base as well. Nice storm here from Zen, but again, at 12 o'clock, but he lost that base. Like, Zen would need an absolute miracle to really finish to come back in this game right now. The only real way that I could see it is if he somehow slowly just continues to secure more bases without taking damage and just gets insanely favorable trades over time and goes into a split map situation. But the problem is you can't split map because Zerg's taking both corner bases, like a Protoss against Terran. Like, how do you deal with this now if you're the Protoss player? You can't split map.
yeah, I mean, at this point, he needs, like, the defensive reavers and everything, right, to try and hold on, but we just don't have the economy anymore. We're on this one base mining. We can't even afford to drop our next Nexus.
Yeah,
it's
gas
just
too. Like, you need 4 gas to start affording reavers and getting robos at every single base. So that's just not possible. He's ran through his bank as well, as you can see, down to less than 100 minerals for Zen right now. And now Cava just going to stream some Lings and Hydras over into that 3rd base location for Zen. I mean, this won't do that much. He's got quite a few cannons here, but the Cracklings are getting top of the cannons, going to be able to pick off some of them. And it's almost like a recall, right? It sets you up for the next attack that you want to do because the cannons aren't there. It forces Protoss to play really defensively, because if you don't and you start leaving and getting ahead of yourself before the cannons are remade, then that's when Zerg can really just get in there with just like 12 Lings and kill all of your probes and the Nexus.
Yeah, we've reached that part of the game too where for Cava, all trades are good trades. There's no such thing as a bad trade anymore when you're this far ahead. You know, he can trade like
85 drones.
Yeah,
man's gonna max out on drones at some point.
He's got that BGH economy right now.
I know. We can see another swarm of Lings running up to the 12 o'clock position again. Yeah, Zed has to cancel that as well. I mean,
painful.
This is the rest of his army. I think he's pretty much like, he was all in for a while ago, but now he's like, this is the last bit of army he's going to have. He can't remax. He can't remake units right now. He's got to go somewhere and find something.
Yeah, this has just been like an excellent game from Cava. Sitting here watching the game, it felt like at no point was he ever vulnerable to anything, right? Like, he felt like he was droning really well. He was never weak at any point. Like, it just looked hopeless for Zen the entire time. I don't really know what windows he had this game.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I said, look at the 3 o'clock, by the way. All the probes going down, the Nexus going down, just like I was saying. No cannons there because it's like a recall. The second recall came in. Meanwhile, Zen is trying desperately to do something here at the front at this 5th base for Cava, but that's not going to work because Swarm's out there, and he doesn't have any Archons really, and now the Lurker's pushing up to finish off the last of his army. There's the GG from Zen. Yeah, Cava just completely outplayed him from minute 1 of this game. It was really excellent display of skill from him.
Yeah, very well executed. And Cava going to take the 2-0 in this series, knocking Zen out of the tournament.